Welcome, and Pastor Jeremy. It's great to see everyone here. We are starting a new sermon series, which is always exciting. But before we jump into that, I just want to address the church membership. We announced it last week. It's going to be 2 classes held the following 2 weeks, so next week and the week after, at 9:45 during Sunday school. And I had a lot of people ask, what is membership here at Cass City Missionary Church? It means different in a lot of different ways, at different places. So what is our membership about? What does it mean to be a member? And specifically, people have said, does that mean I have to start paying dues if I become a member? No. But if you want to, I'll give you my address and my banking information. You can do that. No, we don't require any type of dues or membership dues or anything like that. We do have tithing, and even that is confidential. We don't track it. We have one person, maybe 2, that know who gives what, and that's all confidential. And we only track it for tax purposes, not to make sure everyone's doing their part. The other question was, does that mean that I have to be here every Sunday and you're going to take attendance, and if I miss, I'm going to be in trouble? And the answer to that is no as well. We love for you guys to be here, whether you're a attender or a member. We think what we do here is important, and we think coming together as a body of believers and worshiping God is a good thing, and we encourage you guys to come as much as possible, but we don't track attendance or track you down or shame you for not coming either. And so then the question was, well, what is membership then? Like, what's the point of it all? And I think it's because God does want the body of believers to come together, to be one body, and to move forward with missions and with tasks and complete them together and share in that together. If you consider Cass City Church your home church, but maybe you're a member, maybe it's just an opportunity for you to put your kind of stake in the ground and say, no, I belong here now. This is where I am. Maybe it's just trying to learn the doctrines that we have, and so you want to come to the classes because we go over all of our doctrines, all the things that we believe about different things, so that we're all on the same page. And being a member here just means you're really in agreement. You understand what we believe as a missionary church, and you're in agreement with it. There are some technical stuff with being a member. If you want to vote on anything that we vote on, we require membership for your vote to count. Is one way to say it. So one of the things we vote on is senior pastors coming in. Usually there's a church vote. And so if you're thinking, wait a minute, they voted for you and they voted you in, and you're like, I got to become a member and set these guys straight. So the next time this doesn't happen, that could be the purpose. If you want to be in leadership and you want to be on the ballot for any of the leadership positions, we do require you a member, just so we know that we had that conversation. Here's what we believe. Here's our doctrines. Do you agree? And we move forward with that. So that's really the essence of membership, is just saying, you know what, this is my church home. This is where I belong. This is where I want to pour my energy, where I want to serve. And I don't think that's going to change. And so let's jump on board with membership. So that's one of the benefits too, is you get really to invest in here and grow in leadership and do a lot of different things. And when we have big things going on where we need to vote, we want you guys to be a part of that conversation, and you guys' opinion matters. So that's a lot of things that people have been wondering and talking about. And so I also wanted to mention it because I want to mention the I've Been Wondering series, and because that's just a great way to introduce it. This July and August, we're bringing back the I've Been Wondering series. We did it last summer. It's a chance for you guys to write down any of the questions you have, whether you're reading the Bible and you're like, I don't really understand what that means, or you just have a thought about the spiritual life or the world or God or how it fits. Maybe you've been watching TikTok and they say some things on there and you're like, I don't know if that's even right or not. Some of this TikTok theology is kind of off. So you might spur on, like, I need some clarification. So you can submit these I've Been Wondering cards. They're in the back table. You can just fill them out, put them in the box, and we'll get them. Or you can go on our website or our app, and then there's a button or a link or something you can click that'll take you to the I've Been Wondering page, and you can fill it out, submit that, and it'll come to us. You don't have to put your name. These can be anonymous. Even on the website, you don't have to put your name. We won't know who it's from if you want to go that route. But if you've been wondering about something, you want clarification on something, submit those, and then every Sunday we'll pull one out and build a message around it. So if there's something you want to know more about, And I've learned as people have come to me throughout the year, you guys wonder about a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff that I don't think of. I wouldn't have thought of membership dues for membership. When we say church membership, I would never have thought you guys are thinking, now I got to pay dues if I do that. But you guys are wondering about that. So submit your I've been wondering questions. July and August, we'll go through them. We'll build our messages around those, and it's usually a good time. So I appreciate that. So I think that's all the announcement. Well, unless you want to update in the parking lot, should I talk about that? Have you guys been wondering about the parking lot? All I can really tell you is we're about 4 or 5 weeks into the 2-week waiting period for our permit, right? Is that how it goes? So we're ready to go. The construction company's ready to go. We just need to get our building permit cleared through Tuscola County, and they're working on it. I'm not sure if they're backlogged or what, but the 2-week wait, we're about 4 to 5 weeks in. So it's still going to happen soon. But soon's kind of a funny word, isn't it? It could mean a lot of different things. I was joking first service. Molly and Ryan are expecting a baby soon. Who knows what that means? They're a few days past their due date. They're here. Hopefully it's not too soon. You can make another hour and get out of here. But soon is still to say. I thought it'd be a lot sooner than it is soon meant now, but really, it should be any time now. We get the clearing from the permit, and then we're starting construction. That's all we're waiting on. So that's the only update I can give you, really. So, all right, with that out of the way, I think that should be anything. You shouldn't be wondering about anything else beyond that. If you are, put them on a card. We'll get to them, or just come talk to us. We are jumping into the series. It's called In Good Faith. It's a series that it's going to be a little different, I thought, and so I wanted to capture and just tell you ahead of time what we're looking at. So here's kind of the wrong way to go. Here's kind of the up is down. I got to remember that, and now it's not working at all. Okay, here's kind of the big idea from the series. Christians, us, as we walk in faith, we're to relate to our neighbors. We're to relate to strangers. We're to relate to enemies. All the same. We treat them the same. We treat them with kindness, sincerity, and Christian love. So showing good faith is a humble but powerful way to live out our faith. And so I wanted to actually look at the definition of good faith according to the world, the Webster's definition. Good faith is operating, and good faith means acting with honest intent, fairness, and sincerity, without a desire to defraud, to take unfair advantage of, or to deceive another party. It is about the spirit of your actions, ensuring that you uphold commitments and do not purposely obstruct the person's ability to benefit from a deal. Putting good faith in means you do it sincerely and you do it honestly, and you use all your available resources to make sure you accomplish something you said you would accomplish, or something that you agreed to be a part of. As Christians, we're called to live our faith out in good faith. So today's question, today's idea, as we jump into this series, is based on if we're to live in good faith, what should our faith look like? Like, what's the purpose of our faith? As Christians, like, what's the essence of what we're supposed to be doing? And to answer that, we're going to look at what Jesus said, but first, we'll look at kind of the big idea of today's message, is that we're to relate to neighbors, and we did that. Why am I going the wrong way every time? Sorry about that, guys. Jesus answers this question of what the most important commandment is by explaining what is expected of his followers living out the commands of God. So if we're going to live out this Christian life in good faith, and we're going to follow God in good faith, we have to know what we're following. We have to know what the commandments are. We have to know what is expected of us. What's expected of us, because God commands a lot in his Bible. He commands a lot in his word. And in good faith, if we want to live the Christian life, we have to know what that means. We have to look at, like, what does it mean to be a believer? Like, at the very core of it, like, deep down in what we're made of. Like, what's in us because we're a Christian? Are we different than the world? Like, at the core of who we are, what makes us different? I think of it like of a tube of toothpaste. If you squeeze the tube, what comes out? Toothpaste, hopefully. And if it's a full tube, if it's a new tube, you just have to put a little bit of pressure on it and toothpaste will come out. But if it's a little bit empty and it's getting towards the end, and if you're like me, you don't want to waste it, so you have to, like, crunch it flat, and then you do the fold and the flat, and then fold and flat, and then you get that real pressure to get that little bit out, and like you stick you have to put a lot of pressure to get a little bit out, but toothpaste still comes out. when you squeeze and you put pressure on the tube, toothpaste comes out. But as believers, when we get a little bit of pressure on us, when we're squeezed a little bit, what comes out of us? What is the essence of the core of who we're supposed to be? When life squeezes us, whatever's on the inside will come out. So if anger is on the inside, anger is going to come out. If fear is on the inside, fear is going to come out. If selfishness is on the inside, when you're squeezed or pressed or tensed, selfishness will come out. But when the love of God fills you up and fills a believer, that love, even with the slightest pressure, will start to pour out to those around them. And Jesus says that the most important thing about a believer isn't their reputation. It's not about their talent. It's not about their knowledge. It's not about their politics. It's not about the success they have. It's about the love that they have inside of them. And so we're going to look at Mark, maybe. There's a 50% chance we're going to go up to Mark 12. There we go. Mark 12, 28 to 34. And see what Jesus is talking about when he says at the core of who you should be. What does that mean? So one of the teachers of the law came in and heard him debating. And notice that Jesus had been giving them good answers. And so he asked them, of all the commandments, which is the most important? The most important one, Jesus answered, is this. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and all your strength. The second is this, love your neighbor as yourself. There's no command greater than these. Well said, teacher, the man replied. You are right in saying that God is one and there's no other but him. To love him with all your heart, with all your understanding, with all your strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself is more important than all the burnt offerings and sacrifices. When Jesus saw that he had answered this wisely, he said to them, you are not far from the kingdom of God. And from then on, no one dared ask him any more questions. First thing, it's not really what we're going to get at the point of, but we're talking about in good faith. It's refreshing in the Bible to hear of a teacher or Pharisee or someone ask Jesus a question in good faith. This is what being in good faith is. He genuinely wanted to know what Jesus had to say about it. He heard Jesus speaking. He heard the things that he was saying was true. And he thought, no, I really want to see where Jesus lines up on these doctrines. Like, where does he stand? And he wasn't asking like so many have asked in the Bible. We see so many of them ask to trap Jesus, to corner him, to get him into trouble, to stir up trouble. It was just to say, like, what do you really believe about this? And when he got the answer that he wanted, he didn't sneer at him and come back with an answer. He said, no, you're right. That's a good answer. And that's just refreshing to me to see that someone in the Bible who came to Jesus in good faith, because it seems like most of them don't. But this guy really wanted to know what Jesus thought. And Jesus tells him that the first commandment that we all can follow today and back then, to live a life in good faith, obeying God, the first commandment is to love God. And he doesn't just make this up. He actually quotes Deuteronomy 6, 4 and 5. It says, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength. He quoted something that they know. This is actually the beginning of a prayer that the Jewish people would have recited twice a day. This is something every single day the Jewish people would have said 2 times a day. And when they ask him what's the greatest commandment, they all should have already known. They repeat it twice a day. There was a repetitious prayer that they said. He said, this is it. Like, this is the heart of all the other commandments to follow. This is the one. This is the one that we need to know. And it was written in Hebrew. And the English language, I'm sorry, it's a lazy language. It doesn't do the Hebrew justice. When we hear here, we can hear a lot of things. We hear a car go by. We hear a motorcycle go by when we're trying to pay attention the best we can, but something goes outside and it just gets our attention. Like, we hear it because it comes in our ears and we hear a noise. That's not what he's saying when he says, hear, Israel. He's saying, and what that meant in Hebrew was, you're not just hearing it. It's not just a physiological response to noise that hits your eardrums. It's understand it. It's obey it. It's take it in. Like know, like understand and hear when I say that the Lord your God is one. In a polytheistic world in which they lived in which we still live in, they were chasing after many gods for many different things. And he's saying, no, understand, fully comprehend that the Lord your God is one. There's one God. He is one. There is no other. He's above them all, but there's one, and that he's complete. He's all of it. He's everything you need. Like, know this. Like, hear it and let it go into your ears. Let it seep into your brain cells. Let it go down to your throat so that everything that comes out of it is passing through this understanding. Let it seep into your heart that not only pumps blood all through your body so it gets into your heart and it spreads throughout your body, but also it's the center of your desires and your wishes and your dreams. Let it seep in, like, hear it. Like, let it become the essence of who you are, that the Lord your God is one. There is none like him. There is no need for any other ones because he's one. There's no need for anything else because he's all of it. He's the source of it all. Like, hear this. And let it seep into your brain and your organs and your throat and your heart so that you can love him in response, because hearing in the Hebrew language wasn't just taking in knowledge, it was obeying it too, and taking action to what was coming in. And he's saying, hear it. And then respond by loving the Lord with all of your heart, with all of your mind, with all of your soul, with every little bit of strength that you had. Filter it through this love of God that you're taking into you, because that's who he is. Jesus starts with loving God before he even mentions people, because you can't properly love people until your hearts are rightly aligned with God. We don't learn love from other people. We don't learn love from culture. We're certainly not going to learn it from social media. We learn how to love rightly from God, from who he is. And he's saying, check how well you're loving God by filtering it through these four categories. He says, check how well you're loving God with your heart, with all of your heart. Like, where does your affection go? The things your heart's set towards, where your affection goes. Where are the things that you desire the most? Like, where your desire is, it stems from your heart. Is it going towards God? Where's your passion? Where's the things that you're passionate about, that you chase after, that you spend your time and that you dedicate to? Like, where's your passion directed? Is it towards God? And when your passion runs out and you're running low, how do you fill it back up? And he says, and love him with all your soul. The soul is the very essence of who you are. Like, you're sitting there looking at me, and you have a physical body, and I see your eyes and your heart's beating, but your soul is what is the essence of who you are. If you call me on the phone and I just hear your voice, and what you're expressing to me is on the inside of you, that's what your soul's representing. It's your very identity. It's where do you direct your worship? Like, where do you direct the source of your spiritual life from your soul? Where does that go? And he says, and you should love him with all your mind. We're told to keep every thought captive. We're told to use our mind wisely and to dedicate our mind. What gets our attention? What do we focus on? When we're the most focused in our life, what does that focus on? When we're sitting idle and we have time to let our mind roam, where does it roam to? He's saying, dedicate this time, dedicate these thoughts to God. What shapes your belief? What forms an opinion? It could be your pride, it could be culture, it could be pressure of the world, or it could be God's word. Love the Lord with all your mind, with all your heart, with all your soul, and all your strength. Every day we have to decide, what are we going to do? What actions are we going to take today? Where's our strength going to go? At the end of the day, we have no strength left if we expend it all during the day. But in between there, we have to decide, where's our strength going to go? Is it going to go into things that benefit me temporarily? Is it going to be the things that I need or I want or I desire? To love God means to follow him, and you give him all of your strength. To serve him above the world, above our interests. Where do we devote the energy of our day to? And where do we put our resources? These are the things that Jesus said. You want to know the first commandment? Just do all that. Pretty easy, right? To call on God and to have God search you, search your inner being, your very essence, and realign the things that need to be realigned. And we do this by asking the questions every day to God, what gets my attention? Like my best attention, my most focus, what gets that? What deserves it? What consumes my thoughts? Where am I going to put my energy, God? Like where do you want me to direct my energy today? And what habits do I have? The habits that we form, the habitual things that we do in our life will reveal where all of this stuff is directed at. Because what we prioritize reveals what we worship. And that's the first and greatest commandment. If we as Christians want to serve God in good faith, this has to be our first focus, to love God. It happens to be the first statement in our mission statement. We changed it from a past tense to a present tense. We're loving Jesus. We changed Jesus with God because in today's world, God means a lot of things. Like a lot of people worship God and God might be the sun. A lot of people worship God and God might be the earth. A lot of people worship God. And to them it means a lot. But when we say Jesus, we're crystal clear that we believe in the one true God, the Christian God, because that's who Jesus is, the Christian God. And so we say we're loving Jesus. That's what we're focused on as a church. That's what everything should flow through towards is how is this loving Jesus? How are we loving Jesus through doing this? Because this is the first commandment. That love the one true God, the God of Christianity. That we want people to know the Son of God. We want people to worship Jesus. We want people to get to know Jesus. This is the first commandment. And then Jesus says, the second's just like it. It's just as important. It's love the neighbor as yourself, and it happens to be our second statement and our mission statement. We change it again to a present action. We're loving others because others is our neighbor. Others is actually anyone outside of you is another person. I don't know if you knew that or not. Even if you're a twin, it works that way. If it's not you, it's someone else. So we're called to love others. We're called to love our neighbor as ourselves. And this is where the theme of in good faith really kind of hits the road. It really kind of lands hard because Jesus didn't say just, hey, I want you to tolerate your neighbor. Like you can build a fence and then they're there and you're there and you don't really have to talk to them. Like just tolerate your neighbor. Jesus didn't say, hey, I want to make sure you win every single argument with your neighbor. Like make sure you're right about everything and you win every argument. And as long as you win every argument, you're good. Jesus didn't say, hey, I want you to defeat your enemy. He says you will have enemies. But Jesus never says, hey, I want you to go and defeat them. Make sure you crush them good. He says, love your enemies. He doesn't say, hey, I want you to avoid difficult people. I don't know if you have difficult people in your life. I know you have at least one because you know me. We have difficult people in our lives, and it's easy to avoid them. It's easy to forget about them. Don't point to your spouse, please. Mine's not here, so I can say whatever I want. We're called to pray. Pray for difficult people. We're called to love them. He said, love your neighbor, not just tolerate them, not just make sure you're right and they know it, and not just to defeat them when they come against you, not to avoid them. He says to love them. He's like, that's just the second command, and it's just as good as the first. And Christian love's not weakness, and sometimes we talk about that. It's not weakness, but it's evidence that Jesus transformed us. Our ability to love others is evidence that Jesus transformed us. The world's first interaction with Christianity, chances are if no one heard of Christianity, no one heard of Jesus, their first interaction with Jesus isn't going to be through a theology book. It's going to be through the interaction they have with you who represents Jesus. They'll experience Jesus through our kindness, through our patience, through our compassion, through our forgiveness, through our humility, through our sincerity, the very things that Jesus said, this will be the fruit of your life if you love me. That's what people will see. The very first time people get introduced to Jesus, it's through that. If we're living our faith in good faith, people will feel the presence of Jesus before they fully understand the message of Jesus. They'll get a glimpse of what the life with Jesus looks like before they even fully understand the concept and the theology of Jesus. We heard it in our testimony at Sunday school, and I hear it in almost every testimony. The thing that drew me close to Jesus, or at least got me thinking, wasn't when someone told me I'm a sinner. It wasn't when someone told me what I was doing wrong and judged me for it. It's when someone told me, hey, I met Jesus and my life is better for it. Hey, I met Jesus and he fixed me. Hey, I met Jesus and I benefit from it in these ways. Like my life before Jesus was bad, and then I met Jesus, and now I still have some problems and troubles, but man, it's so much better. When they get introduced to Jesus that way, that's what draws them in. And then the theology will come the more they seek after him. But the first time they meet Jesus is through us and through our love. And so he says, it's very important you love your neighbors. Has Jesus changed your life in that way? One of the first things that really drew me to one of my mentors was he spoke on a Sunday morning, and he said, you know what, I'm giving my testimony, and I became a believer at this day, and then, man, Jesus wrecked my life. He wrecked my life, and it was awesome. Like, has Jesus wrecked your life? Has Jesus changed your life? Because he thought, I became a believer. I thought I just had to tweak some things. I became a believer, and he wrecked my life. I became a new creation. Has Jesus changed your life? And if he's changed your life, does it reflect in how you love others? Because Jesus is saying that's just as important. You have to let him love you, and you have to love him, and he has to wreck your life, but then that should change how you love others. And love is way more than just an emotion. There's multiple levels to love, and the love Jesus is talking about isn't even friendship love. You don't have to be friends with every neighbor. You don't have to be friends with every enemy. But he calls us to love them. It's not an erotic love. You don't have to have physical contact with everyone you love. Teens, you don't have to have physical contact with everyone you love. That's not the type of love that Jesus is talking about. He's talking about a deeper love. He's talking about a love that's sacrificial. He's talking about a love that caused Jesus to leave heaven and come down to earth for our benefit, to save us. He's talking about a sacrificial love that caused Jesus to die on the cross for us. It's a chosen love. He's talking about a love that proves that God chose us on purpose for a purpose. That he chose us so that we would know that he loved us. Out of everything that we've done wrong, everything that we're doing wrong, God still says, no, I still chose you because I love you. And he says, that's the type of love I'm talking about. It's an active love. It's not a passive love. God chases you. Have you been chased by God? We heard in a testimony that God will line up people in different states just to talk to you, just to tell you that God loves you, just to show you that God wants you. It's not passive, it's active. It's an active love. It's a God-shaped love that looks like God. Biblical love is not just a felt emotion. It's a practice, it's active, and it's at the core of who we're called to be to other people. It's at the core of what our response is out of the love that we feel from God. When we hear God, the one true God, the God that is all, the God that is enough, speak love into us. When we hear that, it resonates within us, and then it should pour out of us in action and obedience. When we hear, O Israel, the Lord your God is one. Hear that. Let it come into every organ and every being that you have. Let it pump through your veins and let it flow and fill you up so that when people press upon you, what they receive isn't anger and hostility, but love. It can be very practical. Love can simply look like listening to someone instead of interrupting them. I had a discussion with my difficult person, my wife. She's not here. Just joking. She's listening online. She's always listening. And she said something that immediately I knew what she meant. And I was like, oh, but. And she's like, just let me tell you. Like, just listen. Love can be just simply listening, not interrupting. Love can be serving without recognition. Love can be serving without any expectation of a reward. Love can be forgiving when hurt happens. Love can be speaking truth with gentleness, like finding a way, going out of your way, inventing, being creative in ways to tell someone the truth, but in gentleness and love so they can hear it. Love can be just showing kindness online with what we post and we say. That would be a radical one. Love can be helping people who you know can't repay you. Helping them in tangible ways, helping them in physical ways, helping them in ways that you know you will not get a benefit from. Love can be praying for difficult people. People that you can't bring yourself to go and face. You can go and you can pray for them, for God to bless them. We all have difficult people in our life. Christian love is an act of love. And it comes from hearing and being filled with it. Because love becomes believable when it's visible. I can tell you I'm the most loving person in the world. But then you hear me talk about dogs, and you're like, I don't believe it. You hear me talk about my wife sometimes. I don't believe it. It's sarcasm, guys. Come on, that's not real. It's believed when you see it. When I say, hey, come on into my life, and you say, oh, I didn't know you did that. Why'd you do that? Oh, how'd that happen? Love is believable when it's seen, when it's shown in action. And Jesus didn't say, love people so that you can love God. He started, the order mattered. He didn't say, go out to me and prove you love me by loving people and then come back and love me. The order matters. He said, love God first. Because loving and hearing means that you're being loved by God and you're receiving God's love. Because without receiving God's love first, none of this works. And he says, if you receive God's love first and you hear it and it flows within you, then you respond and obey. Out of the overflow of love you have, you can get back to God and you can get back to others. This isn't moralism. This isn't go out and try and be better. Go out and try and serve better. Go out and try and love better. Just be nicer and do better. No, this is love God. Hear Him. Like, receive the love He has for you. Let it fill you up. Let it inflate you. Let it be so full that it just flows out of you in a natural, obedient state in which you're going to love Him back. And through that love, when you learn to love a perfect being, then you can love others with what's left. That's what John says in the first Gospel of John, because He loved us first. Before we worshiped Him, before we said any kind words, before we stopped swearing, before we did anything good, He loved us first. And because of that, we can love. And that's what the church should be known for. That's what we as Christians should be known for. If we're living our faith in good faith, He says how you live your lives will display to the world what is most important to us. How we live our lives, people look at us and they'll see what's most important to us. The way we love God and we love others is a commentary for others to read, to see how the love of God changed us and shaped our lives. And we can become conduits for that love to flow through to others. It's what the world sees about us. In a world that's divided, in a world that's angry, in a world that's suspicious of everything, Christians have an opportunity to stand out, not by having louder outrage, not by protesting better. Someone said we should just go protest the building to give us our permit. It was a joke. Not by constantly criticizing the world around us, not with being more hostile than the world around us, but being truly communicating truth wrapped in grace. To have your convictions wrapped in compassion. To have your faith expressed through love. The world can argue with our beliefs. We can have apologetics. We can discuss doctrines. They can argue with them, but what they shouldn't be able to argue is our ability to love. That should be clearly seen to all. What will get people's attention the most is our story, our testimony, points to how Jesus first loved us, how Jesus changed our lives, and how Jesus made our lives better and put us in the position that we can then love others. If Jesus changed my heart and entered my world and wrecked my world, people should be able to see that. How do we reflect that change? How do we show it? We have to ask the questions like, what is my life saying when someone looks at my life? What's it saying is the most important thing to me? Does my family feel the love of God through me? Do my coworkers see Jesus in me? Are strangers helped in any way by my faith? Is my online presence shaped in love? Am I more compassionate than I am cynical? If we're connected to God and we're loving to God with everything in us, every piece of essence we have, he should be in us and it should overflow out of us. Just like a river stays connected to the source, is a flowing, alive river. The water doesn't settle, it doesn't pool, it doesn't grow. I'm going to say mold, but algae. It doesn't grow algae. It's not stagnant when it's connected and things are flowing through it. But when it gets blocked off, it gets dammed up, the river dries up and becomes stagnant, filled with algae, lacking oxygen. It just dries up. The love for others can only happen if it's out of the overflow of life consistently being poured in us by hearing God and responding. And it starts with receiving God's love. I would say you can't give what you don't got. You can't give away love if you don't have any. Before we can love like Jesus, we must first encounter Jesus' love in our life. And have you encountered Jesus' love? If you haven't, come talk to us. This is the most important. If you haven't and you say, I don't know if I've encountered that kind of love. I don't know if I understand the sacrifice Jesus made for me. I encourage you to come talk to someone before you leave today. But if you do know Jesus and you do have that love, then we should be loving other people. And we can do that in tangible, practical ways. We could choose one person right now that we're going to intentionally love well. Someone in your life, I can guarantee, needs to be loved. And then there's intentional things you can do to express that love. And we can say, no, I'm going to think of just one person this week. I'm going to start there. We can serve someone quietly with no expectation of return, no acknowledgement, no scorecard keeping. This isn't one that we're going to tally mark. This is this, I know someone needs some service and I'm going to just serve them in some way. We can reconcile with someone that is fractured in our life. We can encourage someone. I was hit this week. I was going through. I'm like, man, sometimes you have problems in life. I don't know if you guys have problems. Sometimes, other people's problems get put on you, and you kind of get burdened, and you try and deal with them. You try and love them well. But I got thinking, like, you do that, but then, like, who have I just reached out and encouraged? So I made a list of people that, like, God encouraged me with, and I said, I'm just going to call some people. I'm just going to say, look, you're encouraging. I just want to encourage you. Thank you. Like, who can you encourage this week? Who can you pray for that's just difficult? Just difficult. There's just so much stuff, and who can you pray for that's difficult? So as we close, and the band's going to come up, if we truly love God with all of our heart, all of our mind, all of our strength, then people around us should experience some of that love. If we have a full toothpaste and I keep pounding on it, some of you guys should be splattered with toothpaste. Like, that's the way it should work. Because loving God always changes, or loving God and God loving us always changes us. And it should change the way that we love people. If we're living our faith in good faith, loving God is the source of our faith. Loving God is the source of our fulfillment. Loving God is the source of our life. But loving people should be the evidence of it. Let's pray. Father God, we do thank you for this. It's an encouraging message, God, that you love us, that we should hear that. God, I pray that everyone in here, everyone watching online, that they hear that God loves you. He loves you so much that he sacrificed for you, that he chased you down, that he purposely put things in place so that you could hear them. God says, I just want you to hear. Hear. Let it come into your ears, but go into your brain and seep down to your heart and saturate your soul. Like, hear that I'm God. I'm enough. I'm all of it. I'm the fullness of everything. Like, hear that I'm God. I'm the one. There's only needs to be one. God, I pray that each one of us can hear that. That we hear it daily, that we use it as a source of our life, and God, seep it into our hearts, seep it into our minds, seep it into our hearts and our souls, and let us use our strength to take action towards it. God, this world will press us. It will squeeze us. And when it squeezes, what is going to come out of us? God, I want us to be so full of your love that only love comes out when we're squeezed. Not hostility, not anger, not selfishness. That just your love. The love that changed us, the love that we reap the benefits from, and our life is better because you love us. God, help us show the world that. And let us prove it by loving others. We thank you and we love you. Amen.